Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. This is Michelle's Library. I'm doing a tag today. I was tagged by someone in a tag, so we're doing it. I was tagged by my lovely friend Aoife from Pretty Purple Polka Dots. I will put her video down below. Absolutely love her. She's Irish. We somehow connected. Anyway, I love her. This is an original tag, so I'm so excited to do this. This is the contemporary reader tag. So, as some of you know, I have recently got into adult romance. I've always been a fan of young adult romance, so some of my answers may lean a little YA, but it's my video, so my rules. Okay, so let's get into it. The first question is, what's the first contemporary romance you remember reading? And this is embarrassing because it's 50 Shades of Grey. No shame. I was super into Twilight. If you are new here, Twilight for life. I don't even care. But then, you know, 50 Shades came out and it was it's Twilight fanfiction. We all know this, right? So it was like the dirty Twilight, and I had never read anything like that. I was, I think, 19 or 20 when it came out, and I was a new reader. I only started reading when I was 18, so this was like a brand new thing for me. So 50 Shades of Grey is unfortunately the first adult romance that I remember reading. I look back at it and I don't think it's bad. I'm not even kidding. I don't think it's bad. I think it gets a lot of shit because it is Twilight fanfiction, and also people don't like Twilight, and that alone gets shit. But I think if we were to like reassess and maybe reread it collectively, we would see that it's not that bad. Sure, it's cringy and it's not really BDSM and all that stuff, but like I don't think it's probably the worst thing that's ever happened in literature. So, and that's how I feel about that. Number 2 is, what's the last contemporary romance you read? And I am currently reading one, so I'm going to put this as that. And I'm currently reading Love and Other Disasters by Nita Kelly. This is a book starring a non-binary main character, which is amazing. Their name is London, and also starring Dahlia, who is just queer, and that's what she says she is, which I love. It's not like a big label, it's just queer, which is great. But they meet on a cooking TV competition show, which I love. I've been reading it. It's made me like really hungry. I'm not even kidding. But I am almost done. I have like maybe 11% left of the audiobook and just flying through it. And I can't even tell you how good these smut scenes are. Like, I am listening to it, I'm like covering my face because it's just like, it's good, okay? They're juicy, and there's a lot of them, and they did it like 40% in, which like, I don't like a slow burn, so I'm happy that they're doing it early on. Okay. The next question is, who are your favorite contemporary romance authors? So once again, I'm new to this. However, ones that I have like read multiple of, I can talk to you about, and that's Rachel Lynn Solomon. Technically, I have only read this one, and this is her adult debut, but I have read three of her young adult contemporaries, and they are so good. So although this is the only adult romance I've read, I do have Weather Girl. I just like Rachel Lynn Solomon's writing so much. And I know, I'm sorry, it's not adult, but they're going off to college, so new adult. Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon, I will never shut up about. Absolutely just a delightful book. And even though it's young adult, there are sex scenes, or one sex scene, which I really like. Positive sex exploration in YA, because I think it is normal for teenagers to have sex. So Rachel Lynn Solomon was my first one that I thought of this. Even though she's mostly a YA contemporary author, I think this still counts. Next question is, Who are your favorite underrated contemporary romance authors? And this one I don't really know. However, so luckily this book has had a lot of buzz, but once again, her young adult and middle grade books, which are mostly also queer, have not gotten a lot of hype. They're just like very quiet, and that's Ashley Herring Blake. She wrote Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and this just came out I think March 1st, I think. Anyway, I think she is unfortunately a quiet author. I'm hoping that this book catapults her in the adult romance world and she isn't like so underrated anymore. But the book that really got me into Ashley Herring Blake is Girl Made of Stars, and it is YA, but it's also queer and it just like hits you super hard. So I love that, like Rachel Lynn Solomon, Ashley Herring Blake has taken the leap into adult contemporary romance, and I think that this is going to go so well for her. Also, this is being a series as well, so I hope she's going to do great in this genre. The next question is, what book do you recommend to a contemporary romance beginner? So I absolutely, for a beginner, do not recommend 50 Shades of Grey because it's just like, right? But after a couple years of not reading romance at all, the first one that I picked up because of Chelsea Darling Reads was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and I love this. Once again, a delight. This really put me in the like stratosphere, I guess, of enemies to lovers, which is probably my favorite trope in romance. And this to me is like the quintessential enemies to lovers. It's a workplace enemies to lovers. So you have that tension of the workplace, right? But then there's a tension of, okay, do they like each other? Are they gonna get together? Is there another dude? The dad is awful. It just has like so much, but it's essentially enemies to lovers, which I love. I love. And if you're getting into contemporary romance, I think this is a good one to start. There's one or two smutty scenes, and that just like gets you into it. So it's not like, oh my god, you've never read it before. But I just think this is a good place to start. And also, now there's a movie. I haven't seen it, but like at least you can, you know, see that on screen again. The next question is, what are your favorite and least favorite contemporary romance tropes? Listen, I love a good trope. I'm a trope whore. The only two tropes that I don't like, otherwise give me all the tropes. I don't like the miscommunication trope. I feel like if you're with someone that you like enough to have sex with, you should be able to talk like adults. Like, that's it for me. The second one that's probably worse than the miscommunication trope for me is any kind of pregnancy, whether it's planned or unplanned. Listen, I know that sex leads to pregnancies sometimes, but I don't want to read about it. I just want to pretend like it doesn't happen in books. So even if they're like happy about it, I'm not happy about it. And that I know is a complete me thing, but I still think it's valid, and I don't want to read about it if I don't have to. So I will stay away from books, even if it's happy, even if they're like, yes, I did it. No, not for me, and that's fine. But any other trope, enemies to lovers, love triangle, friends to lovers, strangers to friends to lovers, all of that, I want it. Pregnancy, I don't want it. No. The next question is, what are your favorite contemporary romance settings? I love a small town. I love a small town. I love a small town with like a single dad. Look, they've already had the kid, that's fine. If they are making a kid, no. But if the kid already exists, I'm usually fine with it. So if it's like a single dad trope in a small town and like the woman moves to a small town and she meets the single dad, holy shit. I want it. I want it so bad. I want to read about it forever. I just love a small town setting. Small town. That's it. This takes place in a small town and there's a single mom. So yeah. Anyway, as you can see. What was your favorite contemporary romance you've read last year? Oh my god. Look, it's Delilah Green Doesn't Care. Not only because it's queer, which just already checks a box for me, but I think Ashley Herring Blake just tells a good story. You know, like with romance, you know, mostly you're going to get happily ever after, which is like why you picked up the romance. But the side characters in this, which are going to be main characters in the series continuing forward, were just so good too. Also, Delilah Green is like just a badass. So she's like covered in tattoos and doesn't give a shit, and then she's actually just like a warm fuzzy person when she opens up. Yeah. Okay. And then what are your top 3 all-time favorite contemporary romance reads? Oh, yikes. I don't know. I think because I'm such a romance newbie, I can tell you my favorite this year. And let me get them. Okay. So my favorite ones that I have read this year, this is like one of the first books I read this year, and that's The Idea of You by Robin Lee. This is a Harry Styles fanfiction, age gap romance. Listen, I was recommended this book by an old coworker after I told her that I was going to a Harry Styles concert, and she was like, you need to read this book, and I was like, whatever, Lee. I finally read it literally 4 years later. 4 or 5 years later, I got around to it. Loved it. I will say people object that this is a romance because of the ending. However, I liked the ending because I am a cynical bitch and I thought it was realistic. So I love this one. If you love Harry Styles, and it's not like the After Harry, it's not like Harden in After. He's like a good dude. No tattoos though, so And the next one, completely surprising, and that's It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I gave this 4 stars, which I know doesn't sound like it's good, but it's amazing. My only complaint, and this is a me problem, and I totally get that, Tessa Bailey is so gendered, and I am so, I'm not raising my like kids like that. Like I don't like gendered clothing or whatever for them, but like she's like his manly blah or her womanly blah, and I'm like ew 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 ew, and that's a me thing. It's me. That's fine. But I still absolutely love this book. And then the last one was The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I did a project a while ago and I read a ton of Christina Lauren and really didn't like any of it, so I was gonna give up completely, and then I just was getting into romance, right? And this was one of the books that I hadn't read by them. Loved it. Amazing. River is the best book boyfriend ever, and it's all about like science, and I'm dumb and don't care about science or math at all, and I was just like, I love this. This is great. Anyway, so those are the top 3 that I have read this year. Not ever, because I have such a long journey to go with romance, but I can say those are my favorites so far this year. It's March, so I have a lot more reading to do, but you know. And then what are your most anticipated contemporary romance releases this year? So my most anticipated was Weather Girl, which I got. I have it signed. Like I got it at a Seattle indie because I needed it to be signed by her because I love her, okay? And then my second most anticipated was the one I'm reading, and that's Love and Other Disasters. And then I have pre-ordered a ton. I pre-ordered Ashley Herring Blake's second one in the series. I believe it's Astrid Parker something. I can't remember what else I pre-ordered. Oh, I'm excited for Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. That's over there in a haul pile that I haven't hauled yet. I'm so excited. Anything with a cute cover. Look, listen, I know people don't like these cartoon covers. I want them so much. If I see a cartoon cover on Goodreads, I'm gonna put it one to read, and I'm gonna put it in my Amazon cart for later, and then I'm gonna buy it. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. The next one is to tag contemporary romance lovers. So I'm going to tag some people down below, but I just want to thank my friend Aoife for making this tag and tagging me, and I'm so excited that I'm in adult romance now, and I hope I answered these questions well, and I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!